My sister, who I haven't spoken to in years, wants me to set up trust funds for her 3 children. 2 of them are with my ex-husband. Update. I, F41, am an accountant and run a successful firm. I am quite well off, and since I am not married and don't have children, I have set up trust funds to my brothers, M43, 3 children, and my best friend's daughter. I have a younger sister, F34, who also has 3. I have not set up anything for her children, and here is why. When I was 25, happily married, I went through some ordeal and my sister moved in with my then husband and me to take care of me. A month later I found out she and my husband were hooking up. He left me later for her. I moved in with my brother and his then GF, now wife. They had turned their attic into a small suite where I lived, rent-free. For 3 years, I finally pulled myself together and started working and built up my business. What made me hate my sister and her offspring so much is that I overheard her when she was caring for me telling my then husband, yeah, like anybody in their right mind would believe that somebody wanted to roofie her, and they were laughing. I am not physically attractive, I might add. That comment destroyed me more than the fact she was sleeping with my husband or that she proceeded to breed with him. She didn't believe me. She repeated what my attackers were telling. I haven't seen or spoken to her ever since. It has been over 15 years now. I have never seen her brats either. My mother called me the other day pleading on her behalf that I should forgive her now, that the children are innocent. And I'm very conflicted now between immense guilt that I maybe am playing favorites here and immense hatred to my sister and in extension her brats. Any advice? P.S. Sister is, of what I've heard, the one who truly would use some financial help. Update. Hi again. Thank you everyone for the support. I cannot believe the amount of answers, upvotes and messages, chats I have got for my post. Seems people often avoid reaching out when faced with problems of this caliber. Speaking of my own experience, I was astonished how many of you have contacted me. So many in fact that the post got locked because it's reached the maximum amount of responses. And while I have read every comment, I couldn't answer you all, and I apologize. I thought that I will answer some of them now and make a little update about something that happened yesterday. This is the one I got many questions and a few very rude messages about. It seems like I was very vague about what happened to me and many found it odd and irritating. Yes, since I chose to post on a relationship sub, I wasn't sure I wanted to make people uncomfortable. Plus I was seeking advice about my relationship with my family. I only mentioned it because I felt like I needed to explain why I hate my sister so much, and it was majorly about this and less about her hooking up with my then husband. My dad is still alive, but I haven't seen him in almost 15 years. Mom said he couldn't face it all. My brother supported me and paid for everything until I started working again. It took me 3 years to pull myself together. Sil took leave of absence to stay with me the first year, so my brother had to work extra shifts to support us. My best friend, who passed away 2 years ago, is the one who got me my first assignment. She convinced her company to hire me and it took off from there. Her daughter is 15 now and lives with my brother since her grandparents are very old and her father is out of the picture. I couldn't let her live with me since I'm not sure how to take care of people. Yes, I do believe my sister was a victim as well. She was assigned to take care of me when she was a kid herself. Maybe she didn't want to believe because it was easier, or maybe she really didn't believe me. She adopted the innocent until proven guilty bull, and since none of them was convicted, she thought she was on the right. Sometimes I want to call and ask why she doesn't believe me and try to make her. I know it wouldn't change her mind. Many think that I'm being harsher on my sister than my ex-husband. Got a lot of "it takes two to tango" messages. No, I blame him more for the affair because she was 17-18 at the time and he was the adult. I just haven't spared him a thought or an emotion since the divorce. He, also, unlike my sister, believed me. My ex-husband is an alcoholic and he and my sister suffered financially because of that. I know nothing about her current husband more than that he's the father of her youngest. My parents are very poor and couldn't support my sister financially, and it's one of the ongoing conflicts we have that I'm selfish for not helping. But I have never cared to do more than when it's really urgent, like paying off their mortgage when Dad got laid off and his medical bills after his strokes. Other than that, I haven't felt the need to improve their situation. Yes, I know I'm being unfair for calling the kids brats, etc. I'm just being honest about how I truly view them, and I have already stated that they're innocent and don't deserve the hate I harbor towards them. Now to the update. My communication with Mom, or anyone else for that matter, except brother, Sil and a few friends, is to let it go to voicemail and listen later, and text Mac. Yesterday I called her directly and told her that I'm not going to give my sister's offspring anything and that they could just stop trying because there's no hope. She went mad and started yelling. This time I did not hang up. I let her rant and call me all the usual. Bitter, jealous, vindictive, blah blah blah. She told me she couldn't understand how I could be so heartless and that the brats are technically my kids. I asked her what she meant and she answered that if I didn't choose to kill my baby they would be half siblings. I forgot to mention that I was pregnant at that time and had an abortion because I was in no state to have a child. I realized that, alas, hanging up when she started yelling was the right attitude. I told her I finally understood why Dad and she resented me. She started to panic explain herself, but I thanked her for finally being honest with me and hang up. I know my parents saw me as damaged goods and that they felt repulsed by me, but now I think I even know why instead of caring for me themselves they dumped the burden on my little teenage sister. I don't know what to make of it. I didn't think I could hate them more than I already did, but somehow I do. I know they're deeply religious, but how can they hate me for something I had no power over? I think I need to cut them off permanently. I feel like they have become a constant reminder of my past and I need to move on entirely. I'm impressed you and your brother turned out so well. Kudos on the both of you. Let the toxic parts of your life go. If someone doesn't bring happiness into your life, then let it go and don't ever think about it again. Your brother and sister-in-law are such amazing people. They decided they were going to take care of you and did what was needed to make that possible. What loving, kind, generous humans. I am so glad you're in a position to do something lovely for their kids. I sense that a lot of your hurt around your sister comes from her refusal to believe you were assaulted, and honestly, I get that. That would kill me too, although it doesn't seem like your parents were great influences. She didn't just betray your trust once. She did it twice. Her refusal to believe you and her sleeping with your husband. Your parents are terrible people. They didn't support you and yet they feel entitled to tell you what you should do with your money. Cut them off for your own sanity. I can't see what benefit you have of keeping them in your life. They only seem to add strife and hurt. Second story. Me 36 male, my wife 33 female says she wants to have X with someone more well endowed than me. I feel awful about it. My wife had a fantasy about having X with someone more well endowed than me. My mom cheated on my dad, which is why I was probably reacting so strongly to it, and my parents were into some kinks which I found out as an adult and it broke their marriage. She was honest with me about her fantasy and I respect her and love her for it, but at the same time I've been having nightmares about her cheating on me and feel awful. She saw my reaction. I kept my cool, but I have been very quiet and even considered just walking away because it's been eating me up inside, and me and her have not been intimate since that was 6 months ago. I just can't get it out my mind. She and I are drifting away. She is begging me to talk to her. I just don't know what to say. She told me I was twisting and turning in bed, and she woke me up last night and asked if I was okay. She told me I have had nightmares for a while now. I can't remember most of them, thank God, except one. She asked what was wrong and I just asked her, am I enough for you? She knew then what this was all about. I told her I was gonna sleep in the guest room so she could get some sleep instead of me waking her up. She was crying when I left for the guest room, which I feel awful about. But I actually managed to sleep and woke up not covered in sweat. I feel terrible and it's eating me up. My wife has never mentioned it again, but I am honestly just waiting for her to say she cheated on me. As terrible as it sounds, I honestly wish she did so I could walk away, which is how my conflict emotions feel about things now. I have no idea what to do. Honestly, we have no kids, so divorce would be pretty straightforward and have been thinking about it. I know that is childish, but honestly opening up our relationship is a no-go for me and something she clearly sees as a possibility. So stay or go, because I am leaning on walking away, which is better than me saying no and then discover 10 years later she had been cheating on me. I just feel conflicted and my emotions are all over the place right now and have no idea what to do. Update. I have had a talk with my wife. It went as well as it could. I shared with her all my insecurities and how I had been feeling. I even told her if she cheated, please admit it now. I won't be angry, I just need to know. She swore she had not, and even went as far as showing me the phone log and even logged into her page where she pays the phone bill to show the last call between her and her friend was 6 months ago at the time of the comment. You can't fake the log on the bill or edit it, and she also wanted me to have full access to her social media accounts. I was starting to feel uncomfortable at that point and said I don't think that's necessary. She insisted because I want my husband back. She said you refused to speak to me and you looked repulsed every time I touched you, and I never did anything except share one stupid fantasy I had, which is all. It was a no before all this happened and you pulled away. I had no problems in bed or with you or your size. I regretted the comment immediately because I saw how you reacted. It was curiosity, nothing more, she said. And now you want to leave me because you have it in your head I am gonna cheat on you because I shared in a silly fantasy with you, my husband. I was starting to feel like an idiot at that point, but she realized I had trauma, so she wants us both to try counseling because she was not going anywhere unless I wanted her to leave. So yeah, that's where it stands. She basically ordered me to come back to bed again because she was sick of sleeping alone. So that's how it stands right now. We are gonna try counseling first. As a woman, I would never imagine saying something like this. It can truly destroy someone's whole confidence and self-value. It's horrible. I think about it their way. If my boyfriend told me he wanted someone with bigger boobs or to try another type of body, and it kills me inside. Third story. Last year my wife was sexually assaulted while I was out of state. She didn't tell me and lived alone for a few months. In that time she cheated on me multiple times. She is now asking for my support and I'm destroyed and lost. I need any answer on what to do. I'll try to keep this as short as possible, but it's a very complicated situation. So last year in February my father passed. My mother was not equipped to live on her own, so I started visiting her every week to check on her. In late March everything happened, and since I could work from home I decided that it'd be best if I stay with my mom until we could find out a more permanent living arrangement for her. My wife was okay with this and was fully okay with living alone for the time being. She's a nurse and had to work in person and knew it wouldn't be safe to come live with my mom. I couldn't move back until October when my mom passed away. No funeral, no real service, nothing. I got her cremated and moved home. My wife was drinking more, and it's not like either of us are drunk 24/7. She wants to have X, but I'm under so much stress from trying to handle everything with my parents I just can't. 2 months ago my wife says she needs to take a sabbatical for mental health. She stops working and gets individual counseling. Last week she says she needs me to come with her. I do, and she tells me the following. In May she was raped while on a jog after work. She was too embarrassed to tell me and too scared to go to the police. She tried to pretend like everything was fine, but she felt like she was falling apart. In a spiral of self-destruction she began drinking heavily and doing drugs. She also began acting very promiscuous and, in her words, slept with any man or woman that propositioned her for X. She said she doesn't know why she did this and is so disgusted with herself. She said she wants to go to marriage counseling and with my support go to the police. She said she wants our marriage to recover from her awful actions and is so sorry for what she's done. I'm at a loss. I've been staying with a friend for the past week. I'm numb and so conflicted. I haven't felt the pain. I know that'll come. I know that what happened to her was awful and I wish I could get my hands on the bastard that hurt her, but at the same time I think I hate her. After my dad has just died unexpectedly, and while dementia was killing my mother and ruining her to the point where she couldn't even recognize her only child's face, she was ducking anything that walked. I'm so mad at her, but I want to support her. I love her and still want to be with her, but I can't look past what she's done. I need to vent. Least don't start with MC. First go to IC and then decide what do you want to do. Remember, the old marriage you had is dead now. Don't try to go back to that. It's done and dusted. After your IC, please decide if you want to start a relationship with your wife or someone else or stay single. There are no right or wrong choices, but your first priority should be your mental well-being. All the best, man. I hope whatever you decide helps you move forward to a happy outcome. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.